Welcome, everyone, to CareerForce and More for Employers. This is session 1. So glad to have all of you here. CareerForce is Minnesota's unified network of private, public, and nonprofit partners who are all aligned to serve individuals and employers, job seekers, and those people like yourself who are hiring for your open positions. Our mission is to help Minnesota thrive economically by continuing to build its world-class workforce. This series is 8 sessions intended to help you apply all of our state of Minnesota and Department of Employment and Economic Development and partner resources to recruiting and retention. We're going to go over the who, what, where, why, and how of our CareerForce system. We're going to talk about how to use our companion website software, minnesotaworks.net, effectively, both to post your positions, find job seekers, and look for job seeker resumes. And we're going to talk about collaborating with Deed Employer Services staff, your local offices, our partners, staff, and just go over all the range of resources on careerforcemn.com. So you can find the series lineup on CareerForce and More for Employers at the URL. So today I'm going to give you an overview of CareerForce, point out some of the top pages that employers can use to get started using our system, talk a little bit about getting in touch with the locations, and kind of address those questions. What about that hiring process? How do we help get the word? How do we help you get the word out about your open positions? In the next couple of weeks, we'll go over Minnesota Works. We'll talk about disability and hiring with vocational rehabilitation services, veterans employment support, reaching our newest Americans, our immigrants and refugees in Minnesota, talk about second chance hiring, some of the programs, both federally and state, that can help you with that, discuss strategic workforce initiatives, and then help you find all of that labor market data to support your workforce planning. So I'm Liz Jennings, employer engagement specialist. I do a couple of things behind the scenes and publicly navigate with the employer navigators in every single one of our CareerForce locations, provide resources and assistance to you in connecting you with the people who can most help you, and then host this and other industry-focused webinars. You can always reach out to me at liz.jennings@state.mn.us. So CareerForce is part of the United States Department of Labor's American Job Center system. For those of you who are recruiters that cover many different states, you know that the workforce system in every single state is called something different. So Kentuckiana Works, Michigan Works, Employ Florida, there's the Texas Workforce Commission, and so on. And so here in Minnesota, we're called CareerForce. If you've worked with us for years, you know in the past it was called the Minnesota Workforce System. We have 50 CareerForce locations across the state, anywhere from Roseau to Austin and Moorhead to Red Wing, and then a number of locations in the Twin Cities. On top of that, we have CareerForce Corner, which are corners in libraries. Our staff goes out to your local public libraries, sometimes 1 or 2 times a week, have a desk there, work with job seekers there. And that's just another way that we can help expand our services to job seekers in their locations, in their neighborhoods. So at this point, I'm going to jump over to our web browser and talk about some of those hiring events and some of that information. How can we intersect um, more thoroughly with you in those hiring events, which are going to get you more prominent with the job seekers who need a job and who can help fill your position. So give me a moment. Hold on a minute to get my notes switched around. There, thank you. So CareerForce, careerforcemn.com. And if you are lucky enough to have two screens while watching this, I invite you to open up your browser in the second screen and navigate along while I talk through some of these pages so that just get used to going to them. So go to careerforcemn.com. Um, you know, the first stop that I'm going to say is that I really encourage you to go up to the top right-hand corner where it says sign up if you don't already have an employer login. Click on sign up, start that account. Now you say, well, is this the same as my minnesotaworks.net account? And no, unfortunately, it isn't. They're two different software systems created at two different times. So um, our life is a life of logins and passwords, and this is also in that same vein. But I really do encourage you to complete an employer account because then it will allow you to favorite, save pages that you find most useful. Perhaps it's the job fairs page I'm going to show you, and gives you labor market data. So I do encourage you to complete that account and fill out an employer account page. So after you've done that, you go back to the CareerForce homepage. Notice this carousel. May is Technology Month. You can click there. We want to get that word out to everyone. We have information for job seekers on in-demand jobs. This is updated every 6 months from current labor market data. We have links for virtual and interactive services for career seekers and also there for employers. Now, getting you started immediately, like you'll say, well, what are the 5 top steps that I can just do right away and get started? We'll go to For Employers at the top here and find the employees you need now. This was just recently created, and it gives you our top hits of what we ask all employers to do. First, contact staff at your CareerForce location near you if you haven't done that already. They have the job counselors who are in touch with all of the job seekers in their area, and they want to know who are the local employers hiring. So contact the CareerForce location near you. We make that accessible from a couple of different ways too. If you go to the very top on the header of every page, you will find a CareerForce location near you. And then you can also find it down at the footer too, find a CareerForce location. So we really prioritize that local assistance. Coming back to that page, find the employees you need now. The second step, after you connect with your local area, we want you to make sure that you have a minnesotaworks.net account. You might say, well, that's old software. That takes a while. I've already posted it on Indeed. When you fill out and get your positions on minnesotaworks.net, they are automatically scraped into the U.S. National Labor Exchange, which is part of that U.S. Department of Labor system through direct employers. It's a collaboration with the National Association of Workforce Agencies. From there, all of that data then is poured into the usnlx.com, and then any other site that receives its data from the US NLX gets poured into that one. So places like LinkedIn or some of the Minnesota counties have a job search portal and they receive the data. So when you enter your jobs into minnesotaworks.net, you're not just getting it into one, you're really maximizing your job postings. So next week's session is all about Minnesota Works. And this link here has the information. It goes to our post a job page. The other place is our statewide job fair calendar. The URL for this is careerforcemn.com/job fairs. And it's statewide, no cost, public career fair calendar. So employers, you can add any of your hiring events, your information sessions, your interview, drop-in interview times to this calendar just by using this employers add your career fair to our calendar. Then you can see all of the events in your area. These are CareerForce sponsored events and all of those employer events. Think about what you want yours to say. So, for instance, this event taking place on May 4th in Lakeville. On May 4th, we will be holding a special in-person event. Why is this event different? What are we going to talk about? What's the bonus? What's the benefit from coming here? How do we find out more? How do job seekers find out more? Have a link to your flyer, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or on your webpage. Do they need to register? They don't have to, but if you do want them to register, have a link there. So when you fill out this add your career fair to our calendar through this submission form, you're going to post all of your information. It will come to my desk and one of my colleagues' desks. If I find that I think you need a little bit more information there, I'll email you. Otherwise, we approve it. You collect next, review the information, you click submit, and then it gets on the calendar. And we have a really pretty quick turnaround time. So you've done those initial steps to get the word out to us. Then you might say, well, what else can I do? Are there people I can call? Are there more people? Well, we've got a range of tip sheets. Our two most popular tip sheets on finding and retaining workers is here, and then reaching overlooked labor pools. This, by clicking on that, populates to an accessible PDF. And it has some ideas maybe you haven't considered. So I encourage you to download that and share that with your team. Have a staff meeting. And we do have staff available, myself and some of my coworkers who can join a group to maybe brainstorm some other ideas when it comes to expanding your reach. The other thing I want to point out about this is that we have a directory of all of our CareerForce partners. So if you scroll down to the footer of every CareerForce MN page, meet our partners. When you click on this, you can type in your zip code. You can type in a keyword, but maybe sometimes that's not necessarily. And then you can see who are the different partners in your area. So I'm just going to type in 56301, which is St. Cloud's zip code, or you can search by city. Maybe tighten up the radius to 20 miles. Apply. And then you can see who are the nonprofits in your area. Tri-County Action Program, Avivo in Waite Park in St. Cloud, RISE, Career Solutions. So when I click on St. Cloud Somali Youth Organization, serves young adults in that area, I notice that they don't have any description about themselves, but they do have a telephone number. You can reach out to them, or we can consider contacting the Tri-County Action Program. They have a little bit more description about what they do. They have an email, a website where you can go for more information. And all of these partners do want to hear from you. They have clients that are looking for jobs too. And if you are in that area, you think this might be a good fit, we encourage you to reach out to them. So I've just gone back to find the employees you need now just to finish that um, page. At any time, too, we always stress contact our fantastic CareerForce information and assistance line. The same team of 5 people support both CareerForceMN.com, our CareerForce system, and the MinnesotaWorks.net portal, the job seeker portal. And they can help route any of your questions. They can answer your questions. They can connect you with me or some of my coworkers, Tom Reese, one of them, Employer Services, who can have a more in-depth conversation with you. Or if you want a personalized contact to some of the CareerForce staff, we call them employer navigators in your region, we can, or they can connect you with those people. So I do encourage you to contact the CareerForce Information Assistance Line, or there's the telephone number there. Sorry, here we go. Just redoing my screen here. Um, the contact information is also at the footer of every page, CareerForce at state.mn.us. So as I go along here, I'm going to wrap up by about 27 minutes after the hour, but please put any questions that you have in the chat, and I'm happy to entertain those. Some of the other things, we always ask, well, if you're recruiting, how's your retention? Because those go hand in hand, and we all know very well that when a person has to do a lot of hiring, that really slows down your business. There's a lot of time and energy and money that goes into recruiting. So at any time, you can access any of these resources on the right-hand side about attracting talent, developing, or retaining. So under retain talent, you see this drop-down menu. We have a workforce plan. We have employer of choice. We have workplace inclusion. If you type on workforce plan, if you're a smaller agency, maybe you've never had any issues up until now. You haven't done as much with workforce planning, but now you're at a point that you want to be a little bit more tactical about going about it. We've got links, questions to consider when developing a workforce plan. Where do you hope to be in 1 year, in 5 years? What's the vision for your future? Some questions that you can use in a team meeting or with yourself when you're developing a plan to lift upward to your directors. We're going to be talking more about this in the future, but one of the questions is, well, who else can help me develop this? And on the bottom of this link is meet your regional team. Deed has a team of people. Let's see. You can sort by region. I'm wondering just if someone can verify for me that you're still seeing the screen. That it looks like I am. I'm just verifying it. Um,
I can see it, Liz.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. So in any case, I just wanted to point out that you are welcome to directly contact any of our employer specialists at any time. You can either click on the region you're at, or you can scroll down to their specific page to find their link. So say um, you wanted more assistance in talking about that workforce strategy, that retention plan. Maybe you need a little bit of, you know, ideas or coaching. Well, our workforce strategy consultants, they can help get you connected with um, people, workforce development boards, uh, the development directors, they can sit down with you so you could go directly to them. So while navigating this page, couple of different ways to go about it. You can click on the drop down menu at the top for employers and pull down any of these. That same list is located on the side with all of these plus arrows. Same clicks will lead you to that. And then you can also click on our chat bot. I don't know if you can see this way down at the bottom, this orange button. It doesn't lead to a real person, but it's like another table of content and it contents that ask you where you want to go. So, welcome. I'm the CareerForce Assistants. Click on I'm an employer. Gives our mission and then select an option. What do you want help with? Recruiting and retaining talent, hiring events, help with layoffs, virtual and interactive services, find services near you. And just to remind you, finding services near you, click there and it will give you that like that directory again. So type in your zip code or your city, click search, and it will help you find that. Remember though, we also have it down at the footer of every page where you go to meet our partners. Click on that and you can find all of the nonprofits and the partners who provide job seeker services and career force services and that talent matching for their clients. Um, one thing I also wanted to talk about this footer too. If you have had success working with one of our locations or hiring a job seeker that you met at a career force sponsored event, or whatever the situation is, really, we really encourage you to click on submit a success story. We can get it out into the media. We can create a blog post about it. We can put it on social media and really lift up your company along with lifting up our staff that have helped you. So we'd love to hear from you if you've had a success. In that same vein, if you have difficulty, if there's some sort of resource that you want us to add to this page, you can comment. Fill out the comment in the feedback form. We take all of this feedback seriously. We've got a team of us behind the scenes that are always adding new pages, updating material. So we want to know that too, because we are committed to making this and all of our staff a really functional uh, resource for you. Too, as you create a MinnesotaWorks.net account and then you create a CareerForce MN employer profile, you can create your own employer profile, and our team um, can help you with all of that. So we already have had over 539 employers who've created employer profiles, and job seekers who are looking for just a little bit more information about their local area businesses can use this. So we encourage you to create that as well. So, um, Heather, Lena, do you want to add anything to this or a teaser of what you're going to be talking about next week?
Well, I know it'll be Heather that will be presenting next week, but I can just share that we'll have a lot of great resources and hopefully come if you get a chance to look at our websites, right? Register for an account on Minnesota Works if you haven't already to post your jobs, but we'll be able to go into a little bit more detail on some of those pieces and answer any of those questions that you might have. So look forward to next week. And actually, it will be Heather that will be actually
Right.
doing the presentation, not me, but
Right.
anyways, thank you.
Great. Thank you. So thank you to everyone who's here today. I encourage you to share this site with your colleagues all across all industries. We really serve everyone. Um, the last thing I wanted to point out, it looks like my colleague too will say something just a minute here. Um, we have, if you drop down to virtual and interactive services, we realize that there are a lot more online tools for businesses across Minnesota and nationally that are created by the U.S. Department of Labor. So go to virtual and interactive services to find more deed resources, unemployment insurance, career one stop, and accessibility resources. There's a lot more there. Tom, what do you want to close us out with?
Oh, thank you, Liz. I just first of all want to say thank you to all the employers, your commitment to recruitment and taking the time to get to know us at CareerForce. And a quick message, Liz and I spend a lot of time talking to employers, and I think it's fair for us to say that in this economy and this labor market, it's all about your brand and about your messaging. So as you reach out to service providers and connections to talent pools, like Liz has very thoroughly covered this morning, please keep that in mind that the job seeker is wondering who you are, not just a name of a company, not just a position description, but what is the culture within your organization? What kinds of things does your company care about? Your mission, so forth, so on. So, just a reminder that to be competitive in today's labor market, I think it's essential for you to convey that kind of message. Thank you, Liz.
Yeah. And you know what? Our team really learns from all of you. When we talk to you about what's working, you're sharing tips, you're telling us, you know, things that you've tried and things that have worked. And so then we pass that information on to other employers so that they can kind of change things up and, develop that brand, develop um, their being an employer of choice. So, yeah, we really value the partnership that we have with all of you. So I'm going to end it at that. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you can go to CareerForce and More for employers, share this URL out with other colleagues, encourage them to register for the series. You can register on this page to get that WebEx link. And then we will upload these to YouTube in case you want to review it with the rest of your team. So take care and see you next week.